Oh, were we?
Me and my brother I was describing to him that there's a space, there's a lane in, social media where people are talking about overlaps between things that seem supernatural or like science fiction inspired, but also things that align with, stuff from ancient texts like the Torah and the Bible and whatnot. For example, some interpretations of the story is that there was no rain before Noah, and that the reason there was a great flood is because the moon arrived to gather the waters of the earth, and that we didn't really have the same water cycle before then. But that's why it was so horrifying, because apparently some people are saying it never rained before then. But I don't know.
The pre-times or whatever you would call that, I've heard was kind of weird.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah, mad goofy out here, bro. Guys, welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. I'm in the lovely kitchen, home, studio compound of my good friend Dan C Roth.
What's up?
I'm so glad that we finally get to do this. And Dan C Roth is a singer-songwriter based and native to kind of my same neighborhood here in the lovely south of St. Louis City. So we want to start by reminding you to check out Caddyshack of Hamel, Illinois, CATTYSHACKIL.org. You can find everything else at jacobv.com, JACOBVI.com. And that's really as much of that as I want to do. So Dan, we have some recently released new music that I want to talk about today. We also have some upcoming gigs and events and things to look forward to. And I also want to get into some of the backstory. So let's start, I think, first with how are you today?
I'm okay. I woke up feeling better than usual, so that's good.
Yeah, good. It's I think the heat broke a little bit, and it's not quite as bad as it was yesterday morning. And then just positive light on the horizon. On my way in here, I was listening to What Good Is a Love Song?
What Good Is a Love Song? Okay.
And that's off of I Got Gold. And that was last year?
That was something like that. Maybe a little bit before. It took like 3 years to finish it, I think. Maybe 2.
And I kind of do love talking about the process of getting things not just written, but also produced and then released, as I just learned with my new song.
You were listening to that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because on my way, I accidentally went the wrong way. I thought you lived like over off Cherokee for some reason.
Okay.
And so I started just driving that way before I punched the address in. And then I was like, I got to whip it around. So I had time to listen to all of Roth Schmoth.
Thanks, man.
And Let's Jump Out of an Airplane I listened to that one twice because of my little detour I had to take. Is a great example of. I'm going to compare. I'm always hesitant to compare things to stuff because I don't know if you like those things.
I'm sure I do.
But in me comparing some of the music we're going to talk about to stuff,
let's compare to what I did.
Yeah, that I for example, it gives kind of a more melodic Lou Reed.
Okay, yeah.
That's definitely in there in a way that I mean only as a compliment.
Yeah, I love Lou Reed.
Good.
Sure.
Thank God.
Yeah, big fan.
And I thought the lyric was a great example of how to take a phrase that catches the audience's attention and turn it into the hook for the song. That's something that is really hard to teach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's also got kind of, I wanted to talk to you specifically. There's a lot of your songs that are produced this way where they have sort of a classic or timeless arrangement where it's not really exotic guitar effects or weird synthesizer sounds.
Yeah.
A lot of it's based around your acoustic guitar, which I think is an essential component and something we have such a weird relationship with. So there's like the finger picky kind of aspect, but also there's this thing you do where you'll emphasize like maybe the hook of the song with different embellishments of the chords.
Okay.
Like you might, I think it's the very end of that song where...
That's actually not me on the lead guitar on that one.
No, but I'm talking about the arrangement of the chords underneath the vocal.
Yeah, there is.
One of my all-time favorite influences from my whole life is Jewel.
Nice.
And this music doesn't sound like Jewel, but Jewel had a very specific way of harmonizing with her vocal, with her finger-picked acoustic guitar, and it was always very intentional, and that's why she always insisted on doing it. And so when I'm trying to, because I play enough guitar that while I'm listening, I can say, oh, this is, we're not just doing 5, 4, 1 6 times at the end of that song. We're, there's I don't know the key, so there's
Key of D.
So there's different emphasis placed on each time you do the refrain at the end.
Yeah, it's all written for like an actual singer-songwriter song. Like I'm not trying to show off my guitar in any way.
Right.
I have guest guitar players sometimes.
But as a guitar player, I kind of think that's like a higher level of, like, if you were like shredding throughout the whole thing, that could be really cool, number one. But it's also like to play, to know those chords and to be able to play them on the quarter notes like that, to reharmonize the hook at the end of that song over and over again.
Yeah.
Like kind of like an Arlo Guthrie kind of a sounding kind of a thing.
Okay.
Or something. It's just hard. Like James Taylor is a better guitar player than John Denver. Their music is not vastly different in energy, right? But James Taylor is plucking all over the harmonies to reimagine how to make the vocal like elevate it for the audience in a way that I appreciated. With Let's Jump Out of an Airplane, I'm insinuating that's exactly the same thing at the end of that. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right thing. Maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of. Maybe it was What Good Is a Love Song.
What Good Is a Love Song? What Good Is a Love Song has a different ending, I think.
This is what I'm talking about, though.
Okay.
It wasn't Let's Jump Out of an Airplane. I did listen to Let's Jump Out of an Airplane, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But then the chord thing I'm talking about is the end of What Good Is a Love Song.
Let's think. So this is like the bridge that kind of turns into a verse.
Yeah. This part.
Oh, I switch chords. I go to the 5 of 5 instead of the 2 minor. So it's 2, 5, 1 there. Then this time it goes.
And then this is different.
Yeah, that's a major 7 dominant.
And then longer. So
yeah, it's all written for the song itself.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying. So, because some people would just say, "I'm just going to do 5, 4, 1 over and over again," and it's cute, and that's fine, and we'll fade it out, and it's sweet, and everyone claps, and we're on TV.
I added some,
and so
melody to that.
To say all of that, to cover all of that, the thing I wanted to ask about is the choice to arrange these songs with these instruments, and then to maintain that level of nuance in the composition to really express it the way that you naturally want to express it with an acoustic guitar, singer-songwriter type of thing. But so many people that are singer-songwriters now, it's like just a kick drum and like a synth pad and just the voice. And so to insist on maintaining that intricate acoustic guitar stuff with it, I wanted to open a dialogue about why you still do that, because I like it. I think it's important that people still do it, but I think we should vocalize why that's still cool.
Well, that was a specific album where I actually didn't record the acoustic guitar through a mic. I actually DI'd it, so I was able to have a little bit more control, and we made it sound natural somehow. It was kind of we did that in the basement studio of Utopia. In someone's
That's
room.
hard to record there.
Yeah, we had metal bands bleeding through, and we were still able to pull it off exactly how we got it.
That's my thing now. I do so much of my work now with these, not just these, but all kinds of dynamic microphones for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, hearing the whole room is great if the room sounds great.
Yeah.
But you learn really quickly that...
that's why we had to do the DI for the guitar, because it was bleeding. Some stuff was bleeding through.
And it allows you to keep it as up front as you want. I produce a lot of my stuff sitting in front of the computer myself with, I have my keyboard back here and my pedal board over here, and I'm kind of in charge of it the whole time for that reason of, getting it straight in there. And then later we can figure out how much of that we want. But I think the guitars up front in the right way in that one that I don't think...
That was one of my better guitar ones that I did the guitar myself.
Well, I'm glad we led with that example then.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah,
for the
so
guitar.
that's to correct us. What good is a love song?
But that had a lot of, yeah, like you said, the chord choices at the end for the ending. It's just like what naturally sounds like.
It's exactly like what
the song.
Yeah,
It's like a new thing. There's like got to be a way to really make it feel complete and end right.
yeah, and people,
Sometimes
contemporary
with the chords.
people are doing that. Like, but when I think about like the songwriters I really listen to, like Pokey Lafarge or Jewel or James Taylor or what's that guy's name? John Butler, or like people from obviously different genres, but when the core of the song is the acoustic guitar with the voice, when they really put that work in, not to just say, oh, I'm just going to play the same thing over and over, but I'm really going to reharmonize the ending of the song to bring some finality to it. It takes me back to, when I really fell in love with this process myself was I took AP music theory in high school and just learning that,
Oh, I did too. Yeah.
yeah, just learning how to like force yourself to really think about what can we do with the chords, because the chords are what become your string arrangement or your horn arrangement or the other parts in a rock band or whatever the thing is. And so if you think about those chords ahead of time, you know what flavors you're trying to add to those sections. You were telling me there was a song where you wrote charts for string parts.
Oh yeah, that was for my first album. I wrote horn parts and string parts. Sometimes there was improvised violin or something, but I wrote like cello. I wrote violin parts. I wrote sax, trombone, and trumpet parts, like a 3-part horn section for songs. And
that's on Play Your Music.
Play Your Music, the first album.
Yeah. So some of that, like, Play Your Music is post rebrand.
That was actually my very first album. It's post rebrand. I just re-released it on the rebrand this year. Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing
on Spotify and stuff, but it was always on my website and everything.
But the is Electric
streaming.
Neon Saxophone also on another album?
No, that's just on Play Your Music, I believe.
Because I'm looking at
there's a couple of them that got put on a compilation. From
that's
the
what I'm
first
thinking
album.
of. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Electric Neon was.
Oh, I had that
though.
liked on Spotify on the with the Hawk.
Oh, that is? Okay, maybe I just don't remember. My bad.
Oh no, I just want to make sure I wasn't tripping.
I didn't remember I put that one on the compilation, but I guess I did.
Because I think that got played on KDHX, which is something I'd love to talk about.
Yeah.
Not just that song getting played on KDHX, but the you appear on an album called Save KDHX, the album.
Yeah.
Which song of yours was that? I'm trying to pull it
Lizard
up.
with the briefcase throwing stones.
Yeah. And so what's your relationship with KDHX? I mean, previously.
I had been on only 2 channels. The Pop the Beat Bubble Burst, which is I'm a big fan of.
Blind by Stereo has been on there. I mean, they played our song once.
I used to have even more of a Beatles influence than I do now, but you can tell kind of obviously sometimes. But that's like, Beatles influence, Beat Bubble.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the stuff on the show comes from, that etymology for sure.
Yeah. So, and then just the local one with, what's his name? John Valley, I believe. Yeah, John Valley.
So, how did you end up
Nights.
on that compilation, that album?
Oh, I think I might have responded to a Facebook post about anyone that wanted to add anything, or maybe someone asked me. I don't remember. What's the dude's name that made that album? I forgot. I'm friends with them. I totally don't remember it right now.
I'm looking because I don't remember which.
I can find it.
I don't remember which website I found it on.
Mine was interesting because most people wrote the songs about KDHX, and I just used an old song that I thought fit the script.
This is a thing that is okay to do. Just to the artists out there listening, that you write something, you don't know what you want it for yet, save it for later. You might get asked to make an album to save a radio station, and you might need to pull something out of the vault to send them.
Yeah, just because it's old doesn't mean it's not new to someone else.
Yeah, it's like if I auction a guitar for Caddyshack as charity proceed or whatever, I'm not expecting a cat to play the guitar. You know what I mean? You're contributing to the value of the thing. So, okay, so we kind of got into that a little bit, but that's we haven't talked about it a ton on the podcast since it happened. But were you a longtime KDHX listener?
Yeah, I mean, as much as anyone in St. Louis. Yeah, I would listen to it more than other radio stations. For sure.
I was kind of, because I would go between Bluetooth and mostly just KDHX. It was kind
of, that was my go-to. And then once the people were getting fired, I stopped listening to it.
I know, it's hard.
I put it on once just to see it. And
sometimes I check in and I'm like, what is happening? Sucks. Yeah, and it's such a bummer because it was such a positive outlet. We need a bigger.
I think there's hope still there because they're kind of reforming now in a different way.
Somebody's going to want to do something. I mean, selling the license and the assets and stuff off is like one part of it, but nobody was like getting paid a bunch of money to do anything there kind of ever. So the people that really made it what the community knows about are still around, and they still have that energy to donate. And so I'm sure something will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened closer back to where they used to be. I was kind of bummed out after they moved off Magnolia to Grand Center, just because I prefer Tower Grove to Grand Center, just because I spent so much time there. But what is your relationship with like radio in general? Do you worry about radio at all? I work with that's my
I don't
thing.
Totally care
because I
like to be on the radio if there is that possibility, but I'm not
like if there's a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I work with people. I do media work for artists, independent artists all the time, and some people are like chasing down spins for radio play for charts in magazines.
I never got into that. I liked KDHX because it was so convenient. I didn't have to like chase it.
Well, and I'm just like, I would never presume that somebody had to donate a spot of some kind that's worth thousands of dollars to me and the stuff that I do. I just like, to create things, and I'd rather be in charge of connecting it with my audience myself than to try to chase down rotation on a commercial radio station.
I've never got into that exactly. I've heard you can do that with like college radio and stuff, but I never got into that exactly.
It just seems
rather try to get streams and get paid that way.
Yeah, and or like I would love to have, a cinematic context maybe to something I've produced, or like to, have the opportunity to produce something for another art form that's kind of that is utilizing music that way. But the idea of like chasing down traditional airplay like that doesn't make sense to me.
To get outdated. That kind of thing's starting to get outdated.
Absolutely, it's dying like crazy. They're putting ads on Instagram to buy unsold radio ads.
Okay.
They're like at a huge discount or something. But I'm like, we've kind of jumped the shark. It's like when I went into Walmart one time, which I don't like to do, and I saw Stranger Things in a box set on DVD. I'm like, the Netflix show Stranger Things is so popular that we're now going to print it on an obsolete medium to sell it to people that don't have Netflix. You could have Netflix for like 3 months
that's
at the cost of a...
Never heard of that. I didn't know they were still doing DVDs.
That's what I'm saying. At Walmart, you can get a DVD. Maybe it's a Blu-ray. It's... That's the thing. People are living in multiple times at once.
I've never had a physical release of anything yet since my career started. I've never I have with other groups, but never my own.
Yeah,
group.
That's the thing. I mean, neither, because it just seems so expensive. And when you're doing it with a group of people and they all have a handful of people that they can market it to or whatever, it doesn't feel so silly. But if it was just me, I don't know.
I had the idea instead of CDs to make like to get like old iPad shuffles or something and just
Yeah,
fill them
I
with
saw
all my
that.
music possible.
Yeah. Radiohead did an album one time where they released it on a flash drive.
Okay.
I also really like the idea of having like I have a Patreon, but like also having like your own app or something where it's like you give me $5 one time and you can stream my whole catalog forever, because that's way more money than if just one individual listened to it on Spotify.
Yeah, you can download all my songs for free on my website right now. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
DanCRoth.com.
Dan-C-Roth.com.
I'll leave that in the show notes
Cool,
too, so
cool.
they'll be able to click that out of the description. Because that's the thing, I finally got my own website. Because it's like, listen, it's not that crazy if I have a QR code to take you to my website so that you can see all the stuff I offer, and you can just interact with whatever's convenient or relevant for
I
you.
can put a link to your stuff on my website, actually.
See,
I have a
mutual-
local links page on the website.
Well, perfect. I'm going to scroll
Yeah.
them both across the bottom here now.
Cool.
The because
I'll add you before
Yeah.
before this goes live.
because the idea that you have to follow me on Twitch, you have to follow me on YouTube, you have to follow me on Spotify, you have to pre-save on Apple Music, like it seems like you're dumping chores on people, where it's like, well, listen, here's one place
Yeah.
to get everything, and whatever thing is relevant to you and what you already have, you could click on it there. But but as a DIY creator in this era, that's sort of the thing we have to talk about and document, is like the things we learn that work for us and that don't, because there's always somebody on Instagram trying to sell you like, oh, give me $500 and I'll put your music on these different playlists and
Yeah,
blah,
that
blah,
happens
blah.
all the time,
It
yeah.
happens all the time. And so it's the people I really grew up loving are not like that.
I've done some promotion through Fiverr.com,
Yeah.
and I think it ended up being worth it, or maybe not. Maybe I
Yeah.
didn't make all my money back, but I definitely made some of the money back.
Yeah,
that I
and some of those
used to
where it's
make
real
the ad.
targeted like that, and you're real hands-on and setting it up, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've had some luck with, things like Upwork or something, but you got to be careful to, because people are always trying to get you off platform to do something more sketchy. And if you give some guy $1,500 for a bunch of bots to go click on your stuff, the algorithms are getting smarter to that all the time, and they'll shadow ban you, which is not what you want.
Not ideal.
Not ideal to be shadow banned.
If I ever got banned from Spotify, I probably wouldn't care. I would just pretend like I meant to
I was
do
like,
that.
oh no, there goes
fuck Spotify.
73 cents lifetime earnings. And who were some of your primary influences growing up? Musically.
Growing up, I remember the earliest was like probably Kurt Cobain
Sure.
when I was getting
Had to be.
started, and then all the alt rock like Smashing Pumpkins and stuff like that. I remember loving all the music videos for that.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, we would take these long drives to soccer games, and we'd be listening to Hank Williams Sr. So I'd be like, at first,
My favorite of the Hanks.
Hank 2 is kind of funny in a bad way, though.
Yeah, Hank 3 actually has some really fun songs.
I always liked the Hank 2 song. What's the one about getting all your rowdy friends have grown up or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
I've settled down.
Yeah. And then you're the problem because you're still out there.
Because
He's like, what do you mean we're not watching the game? What
do you mean we're not getting drunk and getting loud?
Yeah. What do you mean we're not going to drink and scream for 6 hours in the front yard?
What do you mean?
That was what my mom's neighbors were doing
35 years
yesterday.
old now.
We took the baby over to my mom's pool, and we pull up, and there's cars everywhere. I'm like, is my mom having a party? No, her neighbor is having a giant party with a DJ. And the DJ with the subwoofer set up right on the other side of my mom's fence. So it was like we were having a rave at Granny's house.
That's awesome.
And no, it was. I mean,
kinda funny.
The baby likes music, so that wasn't a problem for her at all. But I felt bad. I was like, we're wasting this DJ. I would have invited more people if I'd known there was going to be a DJ.
That reminds me of my rehearsal space that I got here. So actually, let bands come by
Yeah.
for a certain thing and just, like
No, they need it.
Rehearse.
It's a nice central location too.
I treat the bands well, so because I know gigs don't pay that much and stuff. So
Yeah.
if anyone needs a place to rehearse, but I was saying it was reminding me of like I only do 2 times a week with the bands because I don't want the neighbors too much noise. For the neighbors.
Yeah. If it was every day, they would get sick of it.
Yeah. Twice a week is my limit. I feel like,
but it's great to offload some of that because Utopia is way over there, and then Lemp is way over there, and there's it's.
Those are good places too.
It's great, especially for like I like Utopia a lot for like short form stuff. Like if I have a wedding gig coming up and I got to link up with the cover band there or whatever, because a cover band like that is not rehearsing every week. You know what I mean? And so they need like a temporary solution.
Yeah.
For that kind of thing, and this is much closer to my house than that, and probably easier to load into.
I've got easy load-in space, there's like a private parking space out front, and then just up a quick
You have a
small
garage.
flight. I don't have a garage.
You have an alley though.
I do have an alley.
Okay.
You could load through the alley, but it's easier to just park in that driveway.
I was
space.
more asking as a real estate curiosity because I live in the neighborhood. And
I have a great backyard. My dad does gardening back there. It's great. We have pumpkins growing right now.
Ooh, I have a friend that
pumpkins.
grows pumpkins competitively.
Wow.
She does. She only ever enters one at a time or whatever, but it's she tries to grow bigger and bigger pumpkins. I wonder if she's still doing that. She also had ducks, and ducks are a handful.
Every year I get a new baby bunny that just loves my yard and is like my yard pet.
Yeah, and then they move on, and then you get a fresh one.
Yeah, each year I get a new one. But they set up camp in my backyard.
So, what kind of music did your parents listen to when you were a kid?
Oh, I remember when we first got we had vinyl, but
Yeah.
I don't remember doing much with the vinyl. I remember once we got CDs, we had Neil Young, we had the Moody Blues, they definitely like Steely Dan. My dad's a huge fan of John Denver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which, I kind of like him.
Oh, I love John Denver.
I don't mind him.
Yeah, that's some great stuff.
It's good stuff.
My high school principal met John Denver in Shanghai,
Shanghai.
the city in China,
Okay, sorry.
and he
Shanghai.
yeah, he had a
Sorry.
he had a no, it's funny. It's a crazy sentence to have to listen to. His dad was the founder of a department store, and he was working for his dad buying imported goods in China, and he was in the bar in his hotel, and in walks John Denver. And he says to John Denver,
in China.
He says, John Denver, what are you doing here? We got to have a concert. You got to play some songs. He said, listen, I've been in Tibet meditating for a year after my divorce. I haven't had gin in a year and a half. If you could find me a bottle of gin, I'll play whatever song you want. So
Sounds like a true musician to me.
yeah. And so he went out and found gin in the middle of the night in Shanghai and came back, and John Denver played songs in the bar.
Oh, that's
In
sweet.
Shanghai.
They didn't have gin at the bar already?
I guess not. I guess it hadn't crossed over.
Specifically gin.
He needed gin. He hadn't had. I think because he was in. I think he could get liquor, but he hadn't had gin the whole time he had been in Tibet.
Gotcha.
And he definitely had the yak tea. That's
Yak
big
tea.
in Tibet for breakfast. They have yak tea.
Yak tea, okay.
And they don't seem to like it. I don't know why they do it, but somebody knows more about that than me. So. And then when did you start playing? Was guitar your first instrument?
Guitar was my first instrument. I pretty much started writing right away. As soon as I learned some chords, I was already kind of like starting to write. I didn't really get into my writing until I was in my 20s, but I started on guitar in like 5th grade.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, almost like I don't want to say child prodigy, but me and my twin were really pretty talented as kids. So you know what I mean?
Like
we have video of
caught
it.
to it really, really quickly.
We played shows and we were pretty darn good. We were kind of like rock and roll prodigies. Like we were like rock and roll, like Green Day or something. You know what I mean, at the time, another influence as a kid.
Yeah. Well, and I taught at School of Rock for a couple of summers where you really start to gain an appreciation for some of that music because you see how quickly you can get new students into rocking out on their instrument with
It's
some
funny
of that
how
material.
Kurt Cobain is never left like 14-year-olds. They all love it.
Yeah.
That's ever since it came out.
Yeah.
That was what the age I was when it came out.
Yeah.
Loved it. it's been still, the teens love it. It's so funny.
It's great for that stage in human brain development.
Yeah, exactly.
It scratches all the right itches. It's
teenage angst.
It's complicated enough to not feel cringe, but it's primal enough to really get you going. That's a lot of that music. And so
I still listen to Nirvana though. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have the MTV Unplugged on vinyl. They did a reissue of that I
got the guitar book for that. I've had since I was a kid.
Yeah. Now what about vocally? When did you start singing?
I started singing in 6th grade. Was my first performance at the St. Joan of Arc, where I went to grade school at the St. Joan of Arc homecoming. It's called the homecoming, but it's kind of like a carnival.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And me and my twin were in front of the stage that year. We didn't get to play on the stage till the next year. And we would only play a half-hour show, but all covers of... it was pretty cool. I remember we played anything from like Jimmy Buffett to like Real Big Fish. We'd play like Sell Out.
Oh, good.
It's like 90 songs. Grateful Dead. We played Grateful Dead in 6th grade and 7th grade.
Which one?
At those. We played Uncle John's Band in 6th grade. And 7th grade we played Touch of Grey. That was my choice, the Touch of Grey.
Yeah, we used to do at summer camp with the beginner kids. We used to do Fire on the Mountain.
Oh, nice.
And so I have like a love-hate thing with that song because it's like I love
so
it.
Simple, you got to teach it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like it was so good to get the vibe going, and it's it's about a dragon, so it's fun for the kids, and it's not too fast, and it's whatever. But then also that means I played it multiple times a day for weeks on end
with 2 chords.
Yeah. Yeah. And
we played that in high school a lot. That was one of our go-tos. I remember my friend kind of jumping on stage, kind of making fun of us by joining in on the chorus because he knew it because we played it so often in high school. I started jam bands in high school. And now
that's what I was going to ask because the community I was in was more like rock focused. There wasn't a huge like jam thing amongst the bands that kids were in when I was around. But so talk to me about that experience, like gigging then throughout that time with these
we
types
played
of
at
bands.
Cicero's in high school before they closed.
I did some great shows there.
We played a few other places. We got our buddy's dad bought out Mississippi Nights, so my jam band played at Mississippi Nights with 2 other high school jam bands that we were friends with.
Yeah, that closed my freshman year in high school.
I remember seeing a show like right at the end. It was John Schofield with Medeski, Martin and Wood.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
See, the range there is crazy.
Nirvana played there too.
Yeah. Radiohead played there.
Wow, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, my friend saw Radiohead there.
Wow. So I got to play on that stage. My friend bought it out. It was like $2,000 to buy the fucking.
God, it'll probably be a lot less now.
We didn't make our money back, but we had a decent showing.
I totally get the appeal. One of the first shows we did as young guys, me and my best friend that I started my first bands with. The guys wanted us to sell a certain number of tickets to give them a certain amount of money.
Oh, that was our first show. Our band was called Crescent Moon Connection. Yeah. We played at like the Galaxy, I believe it was called. And it was like one of those battle the bands that no one wins.
And so we said, listen, you and me both have part-time jobs. Let's just each put in $100 so we can give him the $200 he wants from the tickets. And then we don't have to worry about it. And then we sold some tickets. We made a lot of it back. And it was like we ended up being maybe out like $50. But then we got to pick our slot. And the guy was really happy with us. And, we got a recording of the thing and whatever. And so it was totally worth it in the grand scheme of, but that's like what you and me are doing with that is we're producing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys chose to produce an event and take on the risk of that loss.
Yeah, I remember having a great time doing that. That was our first gig, so we were just
and then you own the whole thing. And Heavy Anchor was the first place in town that would let me do that. They would, They would say, "Listen, we have a date. We don't have anybody on. Do you want to book your opener and whatever?" And because I was asking about booking a gig, and I was like, "Yes, that's really what I want." Because I wanted to curate a holistic kind of experience. You and me did that together at El Linador one time. That was weird.
Oh yeah, that was like a sausage fest. I remember.
That was
like
cool.
No chicks there.
I know,
so funny.
except for the bartender's friends.
Yeah,
her friends came by, and remember that lady sang a song. One of her friends came by because it was the bartender's birthday, so she had like 6 friends come by, and then one of them insisted on singing a song. So while the bands were setting up, I pulled up a track and let her sing it. That's on my Patreon. I'll have to send you that video. It's hilarious.
That's cool.
And because again, now that stuff has come a long way. With how I like to do audio and video for gigs and stuff to sort of document them. Did you have a lot of live stuff you enjoyed as a kid? Like meaning like live concert footage or DVDs or like whatever, like concert movies.
No, I didn't start that till high school. I had a bunch of DVDs.
No, okay, so like what?
Fish, Grateful Dead.
That was a great time period for the concert DVD.
Yeah.
The White Stripes had one that really changed my life and really made me want to play music, and I watched it over and over again. Prince has a bunch of them. Those are like my 2 big things.
Cool.
And then, but also
Prince
all the
White Stripes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my 2
starting to get
things.
to know each other a little better.
Yeah, I'm a goofy dude.
I like those choices.
Yeah, and it was. I think the White Stripes were better for my undeveloped ear, and it really.
I saw Jack White live once.
I've seen him, I think, 7 times. Did you go to the factory?
It was at Chaffetz, I believe.
Oh, I was at that one.
No Phones.
Yeah. No Phones is a great Cake song.
Okay.
That was my first rock song, really, when I was a child, was The Distance by Cake.
Oh, The Distance, yeah.
Yeah, my aunt would put that on, and she taught me how to headbang.
Yeah, I was a fan of that one. My next door neighbor had the CD. I remember.
Fashion Nugget.
So heard it there.
That whole album is good. But that's sort of all the bands I remember when I was a kid had. I mean, my wife still has them, like The Used and My Chemical Romance. Like that was the kind of stuff she was into when we were kids.
Yeah,
and so there's just tons of DVDs.
Is that almost like emo, or what is that like?
Yeah, emo.
That was, I never got it. I got switched to the jam band phase.
Well, because I think that's
the
the primary taste difference in our age groups was because kids that were older than me were into like the jam band thing. But then when we were in junior high, we had this post-hardcore emo wave kind of come over.
Yeah, I remember that, but I didn't ever like it.
Because you were already into your own thing then. It was
in high school I got into I was into 90s music and whatever, maybe some older stuff too, but then I got to high school and it started with the Doors at first, and then like Simon and Garfunkel, the classics, and then jam bands. Also, the second half of high school was like jam bands, like exclusively, and that got me into some trouble in college, having that hippie mentality.
Do you know Kirkos? That's that band we played with that night at El Linador.
Yeah. I do, yeah.
They went to Las Vegas to play at a bar before and after the Fish show at the Sphere.
Oh, sweet.
So they weren't like opening for Fish on site, but they were playing like before and after the Fish show at the Sphere at like a bar down the street.
People do that in St. Louis too.
Yeah, like and they play
in Vegas?
They play at Pop's Blue Moon a lot.
Oh, okay.
But Kirkos is like so loud for that space. Like it's being completely independent and DIY and mostly instrumental and psychedelic and whatnot. I guess it's a hard sell for bigger spaces. But
yeah,
that's the thing I liked about Snarky Puppy.
Okay.
That it's like a jazzy,
I know them.
funky jam thing. That it's sort of an accordion of members. That like it sometimes is a bigger group or a smaller group, or sometimes different people on different things.
Is it just like the one leader?
It's like a collective, but it's not even really one. It's like a couple of them. There's like a percussionist and a bassist and some. I mean,
that are always in the band.
Yeah, but the people cycle back in, so they don't like come and go like members of Kiss or something, where it's this guy for a while and then it's the next guy.
Whoever can make the gig.
Yeah, exactly. And and for a product like that, because they're not like a jam band stylistically, but
they're in that same.
But theoretically,
a little bit.
As far as a production aspect, it's very much like that. The point is them all being together and producing this thing in the space and the time and the air. It's not really about just the tracks or the composition.
It's more about instrumental stuff too, jam bands. That's why it's so fun as a musician. That if you're I started on like guitar, you know, I didn't start songwriting till later.
Yeah.
So it's just so fun to be able to,
because you can connect with that immediately.
3 minutes each song minimum. You know, you get to just play as long as it still has some oomph in there, whatever you call it. Some spice. Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do was I figured out how to turn
the wave crashes.
Yeah. I figured out how to turn learning a pentatonic scale into learning how to improvise for the first time.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I would teach that as a 45-minute lesson with my guitar students.
You have guitar students and that's all you know?
No, I mean, for the first time.
I'm just,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's the go-to first thing.
Yeah, and so to show them that a guitar solo starts with this idea.
I was gonna say, where am I at?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was kind of a jerk.
No. That's not stretching it because that's all we can do, but using that for specifically, like you could teach a kid to do an improvised guitar solo who's never played guitar before in 45 minutes.
I have one of those Tommy Halloran rugs I could just put little markers on the scale.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's nice and big, and then you just follow it on your guitar.
I have some of his puzzles. He made puzzles with his kids one Christmas.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And thing I was saying was, I know I keep doing that. The thing I was saying was,
I like to jump from one conversation,
one I love it,
to the next. It's kind of my mental style.
So, like, let's say
connect relevant stuff and never really get to one point.
No, but I wanted to bring up the teaching thing too, because as a guitar player, communicating and teaching other guitar players is a natural part of it, whether you're doing it formally or not. But so my thing was, okay, I'm going to play these 2 chords back and forth, and at your leisure.
Oh, you did teach?
Yeah. For a couple years.
I didn't mean to insult.
No. But that's how I made it sound. I made it sound like, okay, we're just doing this one scale for 45 minutes.
Well, and that's what you would start. If you know enough to teach kids, you don't have to know that much because they need to.
Oh yeah, you got to stay a step ahead of them. But the activity I was simulating for them is, okay, I'm going to play these 2 chords back and forth, and I want you to start playing notes from that scale. But I want you to try to not just play them in their linear order.
You could either do B pentatonic or B mixolydian for Fire on the Mountain.
Yeah, you could do it with a lot of different scales.
Could do the jazz way, which would be B mixolydian and then A mixolydian once you hit that'd be like Killer Joe, but in the key of C instead of B.
Yeah, and so what we could do is say, like, they could start to experience that, oh, I'm playing these notes that we committed to, and so even if I'm playing them kind of slow or kind of this or kind of that, I can hear for the first time that I'm participating in the song. You know what I mean? So you were mentioning you have some guitar students.
Actually, I have songwriting students.
That's the thing. I always wanted to do that more than the guitar thing.
It's more fun to teach than guitar. Guitar is such a struggle because you have to really commit to it. There's not that much reward in the beginning. You really have to just keep learning scales, and it's just
there's a magic time when you're a young person that if you're learning guitar that you could sit and force yourself to try it over and over and over again.
I remember learning the modes of the major scale starting when I got in jazz band in high school. I knew not even the pentatonic. I think I learned modes even before pentatonic, but both around the same time. We took music theory in high school. We had that at Chaminade where I went.
Yeah. So what do you start people with when
on songwriting lessons?
Yeah, specifically.
Probably song forms, like verse chorus, intro verse chorus, bridge.
Are
chorus.
A lot of them singers first?
I haven't had too many students, so I don't teach kids or anything. I've just had I also do kind of like song coaching. So I've had just one, and I have a new student next week for song coaching. And the first person actually was Alice Oakley, and I've got her to be able to write on her own through song coaching. But I do offer. I need to add this back to my Dan C Roth website, but I do. I'm going to add the lessons back on there soon, so that'll be cool. And I had a portal which you could either sign up for ghostwriting, where I would write for you, or co-writing where you would give me credit, but you would still only pay a flat fee and you would keep all the royalties. And then I also teach just normal lessons, like say it was a young person that needed to learn just the mechanics of what a songwriting, what songs are. So I remember when I first learned these forms through a YouTube video, I was blown away, and I like immediately added a song to a form, and I was like, oh wow, it's like a puzzle. It's cool.
It makes it formulaic in a way that's interesting. I remember that's what I learned out of.
So the form is a good thing to learn for sure. First.
Yeah, the song forms and the structures and the different components and those concepts and when they're appropriate in their context. I also studied like Bach chorales.
Okay.
Of like, so we're learning like the number sequence of like the chords, let's say in your typical major scale, 1 through 7,
1 through 7,
and then Bach had rules for which chords are supposed to go to other chords when. Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
learning that.
And
stuff.
so, like for example, I think Bach said the 5 is always supposed to go back to the 1.
Or it can deceptively go to it's a deceptive cadence if it goes to the 6 minor.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it seems like it's going to go to the 1, and then it tricks your ear into
yeah. And I think in the book that was in parentheses was the 6 minor. Yeah, and so I remember really working for a long time on. Okay, so I know where the chords are on my guitar. I know where the chords are on my piano. I want to sing, and so I have to make stuff to sing over. And so, how can I use these formulas? How
did you get into the lyric part? That
was my first thing.
That's the thing I really want to teach.
I started. I fell in love with like poetry and creative writing when I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
And I wrote a poem about a sad, lonely mermaid.
When did you start playing music?
Probably the next year.
Okay.
I had a guitar that my brother had taken lessons with, and then my grandfather had a bunch of instruments that he...
Poetry first.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of me, yeah.
Yeah, and so I always, wanted to be a wordsmith of some kind first, and then I started singing pretty quick after that.
Nice.
And then had to play an instrument because I didn't have enough... My best friend played drums and started playing drums in 7th grade. And so I said, well, I want to sing. I want to write songs. So I guess I need a guitar. And then I found the White Stripes. And then they gave me permission to not have to have a full band for a while. And just
you can do whatever form that you can get people to show up for.
Yeah. And then in like 9th grade maybe or sophomore year of high school, my drummer had his birthday party at his house. We had all of our friends' bands from school come and play in his living room. And that was crazy. That was fun.
Sounds like a fun party for a high school.
Yeah, it was great. My wife was there. We weren't together then, of course, but it was
wow,
like dozens of people.
Then?
Yeah, it was dozens and dozens of
That's insane.
people there. It was nuts. And that was before, it must have been 2006 when we did that. But that's the thing. So it's like it was always trying to find those pieces to figure those things out. But that's why I loved What Good Is a Love Song. The end of it is because I'm thinking of the numbers of the chords and their relationship to the tonic the whole time that song is ending, and trying to just do the math on, I like this choice. I can imagine why those choices were made.
So on the triple repeat, it does 2, 5, 4, 4 minor, 1. Does that twice, and then the last time is a 5/5, which is just the 2, but the dominant 7 version, instead of D minor be D7, and so it's 5/5 to 5 to 4 to 4 minor to 1.
See,
yeah, it's written that way to. When you hit the 5/5 versus the 2, it makes it seem like it's completing or something.
Yeah.
After you've done the 2 twice.
Yeah, it's like because...
But that's like a Beatles trick or something.
Yeah, and I also,
love
the idea. The thing that I learned from Prince was you could use synthesizers as horn sections. So...
Oh, yeah.
And so on the piano, to just do all those different chords is one thing. But if you're, giving it punch and sustain and brightness or whatever, you can get... I'll totally take a TC if you got another one. I appreciate it so much. That if you take, all those different chords and you play them on a polyphonic synthesizer, it sounds like a Metropolis, horn stab or whatever.
Yeah.
And you want those extra notes in all of those chords, those nuances between the 2 and the 5 and the 6 and the 1 that we're talking about. You want all those in there, because if I was just playing it on electric guitar, I could just play the power chords. It would be fun. But if I'm, really trying to serve the song, it's like the difference between single attacking in Mortal Kombat or actually knowing the combos and really stacking combos and the button mashing.
Yeah.
That at the end of a song, we could just get louder, or we could just be repetitive and be more energetic, or we can actually figure out mathematically how can we calculate a really sweet trick shot of a landing for the tune.
I would just study the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what those guys did when they were sitting in front of each other on those beds with those guitars in their hotel rooms and figuring out those songs. They're saying, okay, so we can't just play F, G, C. That's stupid.
I don't give a shit about my guitar on the original. I have lots of guests. I don't try to show off my
It's
guitar
about the
whatsoever.
composition.
Yeah, just the composition.
That's the thing. I put out a solo single every couple of years because I always have something else I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because those other things, it's totally different. When I write a song, I have a very specific thing a process I want it to go through to sort of achieve what I want it to sound like and whatever. And that's a totally separate thing than like when I'm with Blinded by Stereo and I'm playing the organ parts or the guitar leads or whatever. That's more of a primal, energetic contribution to. With the kids, I used to call it the orb.
Yeah.
When you're playing music with other people, you're all contributing to this unseen orb of energy. And when it's all going well, that orb is thriving. But if somebody starts getting out of time or somebody starts getting out of tune or whatever, then you can start to diminish the orb. And so it's about...
That reminds me of jam bands more than...
Exactly. But so that's the thing, the live experience versus the live experience as a creator as opposed to the composing, producing aspect. It's two totally different disciplines.
Yeah, so jam bands is basically just the composition at the beginning. The easiest way to make a jam band happen is just have the composition at the beginning and then jam at the end. Yeah. Which is super fun. Both are very fun to do, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, jazz, that was the real thing with jazz, too, back in the...
That's the new definition of jam band. They put in the dictionary. It was...
it's like honky jazz.
A band, usually a rock band, that has jazz-like improvised sections. Sorry, burping.
No, you're good. The...
Jazz-like, it calls it in the dictionary.
Who do you like right now that's working in that genre?
Jam bands? Oh, the Big Woo I've been listening to recently.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, they started in 92, which I just saw in this YouTube video. I really like their songwriting. They never really got too big, but they kind of remind me of myself. I never got big at all. Still not even in my prime yet. Still getting there. And then Fish, of course, and Grateful Dead. I like, I've never seen Dead and Company. I don't totally care, but I like it. I'll listen to it sometimes. But
it's shot so well on YouTube. I'd rather
they do a good job.
Yeah, it's
Bob,
important.
I just heard the recent show live on Sirius XM, and Bob was starting to sound a little older, which is bound
to happen.
Yeah.
It's 2025. It's been a long road.
He's still kicking though, so I don't think they're completely done, but hopefully not. But that was like their 60th anniversary.
That needs to blossom into some kind of performance experience that can continue that tradition of the Grateful Dead live.
I feel like they just get the guy from Dark Star Orchestra who does a Bob Weir impression.
Yeah.
And get him to join John Mayer, and then you got a new band.
Yeah, let John Mayer and whoever kind of continue the thing, because I think that's I saw
Mickey seems like he's healthy.
I don't ever listen to Dave Matthews. But I've seen Dave Matthews Band live because
I saw him live once. Yeah, everyone has.
Yeah, I was invited.
Everyone was doing it.
You got to try it. I saw Kiss on their farewell tour. I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but it's the last time I can do it. And so the Grateful Dead kind of needs to transcend into something that can be ongoing.
Sorry, people are texting me.
No, you're good.
I'm trying to read it.
I don't even think that'll pick up in the mic because they're
so phone oriented.
Well,
So I don't like have a normal job. I only do music. So
Yeah.
I'm always around my social media. And
yeah, you got to be on top of that stuff. I mean,
Well,
no, but I mean, it's a lot to keep up with.
it's just I don't have much else to do. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm either rehearsing or working on stuff on a computer or something
Yeah.
for music. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm between the podcast and the music stuff. It's I always have tons of little red notifications to catch up on, and YouTube comments. Somebody told me we had a clip from the podcast the other day about how the city is going to start shutting people's water off again if they are behind on their bills, because they weren't doing that during COVID for a long time. And a guy commented, "This guy needs more water to bathe."
About you?
About me. So managing your
Is
own.
that a beard joke?
I think he just thought I looked dusty, and so that's the thing about
This hippie needs a bath.
yeah, somebody
damn it.
washed this dude was kind of the main thing. So do you have some gigs coming up?
I have August. We're in August, so yes, August 27 at Venice Cafe with Dan Roth, Dave Clark duo.
Okay, cool.
And then the next day I have Schlafly Tap Room, which is the 28th, and I start probably first at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'm first. But that's a 7 to 10 show.
Oh, good.
Schlafly Tap Room downtown.
Yeah.
by
Oh,
the-
I've been there. I saw.
yeah.
I think the last show I saw there was probably Karate Bikini. It's been a while.
I used to play there before COVID, and they
Yeah.
used to pay us $100. Now it's kind of a playing for beer, but that's fine. I never really brought, they'd always lose money on
Yeah.
that. So you can't kind of have to be real. That's why I don't charge a lot for my rehearsal space. I'm like, bands, how much money are you really adding to the
Yeah.
venue? And you're not getting paid that well. I
Yeah.
can't really charge you too high or anything like that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's plenty of people doing that. The minute you start creating anything, there's people trying to get in between you and the product financially. But that's part of the thing. Like with the podcast too, like anytime as an artist I ever tried to do anything with a media organization, it was always really complicated, and there were forms, and there was like very rigid schedules and very short time slots or whatever. Whereas, with a podcast, it could be much more flexible and it can kind of grow out across the social medias in a more natural way than as opposed to like if you played on Fox 2 this morning or something.
Yeah.
That stuff is just kind of transitioned.
I don't feel like I'm Fox 2 material.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd be surprised some of the stuff you see early in the morning. The one time I saw Yngwie Malmsteen.
Just showing up for that would be tough.
That's what I
that
mean.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people stay up.
Oh, that's insane.
One time I saw Yngwie Malmsteen playing on morning TV, and it was him with his leather and his hair and his full stack and his sunglasses, but it's 7 a.m. And they say, okay, our musical guest today is Yngwie Malmsteen. He's playing tonight at the arena, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes into it. It's an instrumental track. It's a pre-recorded track that he's just shredding over with his leather and his hair. He's got a fan. His hair's blowing in the wind. He's got his sunglasses, and it's 7 a.m. I'm like, there's no way he sleeps. That's just such a weird energy to channel that early.
That's the opposite of that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think some of the stuff that we have going on locally, we've lost a lot of venues. We've lost a lot of the things that you and I were used to.
Things are changing. Yeah,
Yeah.
always changing.
And so how do you keep up with that and just to try to keep the fire lit of the inspiration to move forward when we have those speed bumps? I don't think they should be
Right now, I'm
disqualified.
working on, since, I don't know, I started doing okay on streaming, so no one who wants to see a solo act. So that's why I have my duo, actually, with Dave Clark.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more interesting. He plays
Yeah, that call and
Pandero.
response is a huge part of the thing that makes it interesting.
So we're playing at Venice Cafe, like I said, August 27th,
Yeah. And
9 to 12.
have you played there a lot?
That's been a go-to for me for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, my mom used
don't
to
play
go to
too
the open
often,
mic
like
there
once
like
a
in
year.
the 80s. like
Okay.
maybe 1990. Like there's been some version of that experience there for so long.
Longest running open mic in St. Louis.
Yeah, is it really? Do they advertise that?
Yeah, they do
Oh, okay,
advertise it.
that makes sense then. So I'm not lying. My mom saw somebody there one time that was just like they would say something and then they'd go jazz, 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 like after every line, and it's just so important to have. Did you ever see So I Married an Axe Murderer?
No.
It's a Mike Myers movie. It's a comedy, but the very opening scene, they're at an open mic in San Francisco at like a coffee shop thing.
Okay.
And it goes through kind of a montage of people doing stuff like that. I used to go to an open mic in the county at this cafe in Webster, Nora, maybe. And
Okay.
it was hosted by the founder of the Kirkwood Webster Times. And he was like a beat poet like that. He would read everything like this. And we would do an impression of him doing an impression of Oprah, where it's like, you get a whale and you get a whale. Everybody gets humpback whales.
Impression squared.
Yeah, an impression of an impression. And because that's the thing. So did you do a lot of, when you started your songwriting journey, you've communicated that was kind of a new separate thing for you later
Well, I
than when you
started
were playing?
in the jam band world in
Yeah.
high school as a songwriter, but then I basically kind of flaked out on the jam band world. Like, it didn't really go well. I wasn't too organized live. I was just okay, and I was basically kind of falling out of love with it at the time.
Yeah.
And I got back into it later. I mean,
So
But I mostly started songwriting when I was working on my first album. That was like my first album, Play Your Music, came out when I was 30. That was like all of my 20 songs combined. They were all pretty good, and they all went together somehow. And that's like a what do you call that? An album where you have the concept album. So, yeah.
well, that's why. I mean, it just took you that. It feels like they should be more different because it took you.
That was my
that
whole
long.
20s was my first album, and then I got
think that's
way
common.
quicker at songwriting and
Yeah.
started getting even better. So,
But I think I think your musical experience probably set your expectations, and that's probably why it took you so long to finish the first one.
I'm a late bloomer. Yeah,
Because I think you had a musical ear that was so much more developed than people if like me, I started off as a songwriter. So my first album would be weaker across the board than my more recent stuff. Whereas opposed to you had time with developing your ear before you went in to compose your own stuff like that.
I went to jazz school at Webster for 2.5 years. So I was like a jazz guitar player almost, And I actually, once I left Webster, I learned how to play jazz even more because I was able to think of what I learned on my own in my own way. And it gave me like my own voice, which I didn't actually get till I left school. But I was there for like 2.5 years. It's funny about my band right now. We had 3 people of the 4. The drummer's young, but we had 3 people of the 4 that were Webster U music dropouts. The one guy switched majors to like a business major. Me and the bass player just dropped out.
That's where I got my teaching degree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Cool.
I know exactly who you're talking about. You had like Dave Black, maybe?
Oh, the teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Black. I had Tom Byrne, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So that was just a tough time in my life. I started becoming like drinking too much and shit in high school, partying, like caring about
it's so
social
easy.
life more
I mean,
than anything
I can't
else.
imagine how much.
So I can see how they could be strict on you and like just to kind of weed you out if you're not really going to follow in jazz. Which I didn't. I didn't really. I can play jazz now, but I don't really play jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's some of that tutelage in there. When I listen to some of the guitar parts and stuff, I'm like, oh, there's definitely like the
Tutelage. That's like a college word.
yeah. There's some jazz school in there for sure, in a good way.
Jazzy chords sometimes.
Well, and because again, it goes to what we're talking about, that even if you're, serving the composition with primarily just your rhythm guitar part, that, where those extra notes are, like we were talking about, to put those in there. And it's just not something everybody has. I also
I've got the ear. Yeah. Actually, I was vocal education major at UMSL for a year.
Oh yeah.
And I only got in not because I had a great voice, but I had a great ear to be able to teach how to sing.
Yeah,
versus
that's
being
way more
able to
important.
sing.
Yeah.
The ear. If you don't have the ear, you can only like play blues maybe or something. You won't be able to play Beatles songs.
Yeah.
You won't be able to sing those harmonies. Not that I can either anyway, because I have a lower voice, like the Lou Reed thing you were talking about.
Yeah, no, but I think I kind of fall into that register too, more that is also part of the thing from, the blending of genres over the last several years. The vocal is still the most subjective and unique instrument, and like it's crazy how recognizable voices are between one another. Guitars are not like that.
Oh yeah, no. What's funny about me is I do have a unique. I have a friend that at least told me this, that he would know it was me if he heard a recording of me. And on my recent recordings for Dan C Roth, we had Let's Jump Out of an Airplane where Paul Niehaus the fourth played the lead guitar instead of me, because it was more of a country style, which he was just better at.
Yeah,
and I just let him do it. And
that's the value in playing with other people.
But he knew it wasn't me on that one, even though it was my recording. He could tell it wasn't
he could tell it wasn't you playing it.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes, like
Jerry or something. You can tell it's Jerry.
Yeah, I very typically don't do the drums myself. I typically collaborate with somebody on drums, because I taught drums to little kids for a year at School of Rock, but it's just not my forte. And so that's the first thing people ask me when I have something new come out. I say, "Who's playing drums?" Because it's always different. Because
I've had a million different St. Louis artists I've recorded with.
Yeah,
my first album, the Play Your Music album, had 16 different different musicians on it.
Yeah. I was thinking you and I could probably successfully collab on an album for children.
It reminds me of the what is it, the Jerry Garcia, David Grisman album, Not for Kids Only, where it's like kind of for adults, but it's like kids music.
Yeah.
There's a really good one on that.
Because some of that stuff, because I have an infant now, and so I hear a lot of this music for children now.
Yeah, I have a big Beatles influence. It almost sounds like it's almost very similar to children's music.
It's like it's supposed to be appealing even to children,
catchy. Yeah,
but it's got real for all ages. When you're a musician and then you go and you listen to that stuff, you're like, oh, there is real music in here still.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of it, will focus on the more obvious elements like the acoustic guitar and the piano and the, nothing too crazy, nothing too.
Someone said I was inspired by the Robin Hood movie, Disney Robin Hood cartoon movie, which is true.
Yeah.
My like bluegrassy, like countryish stuff. You know what I mean? Like, Americana. It's like got that, like just the fun poppy catchiness to like a Disney style of that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, not that I like Disney very much, but
no, but when I go back and I watch some of those movies now,
that was always my favorite as a kid.
Yeah,
probably any of the
in
Disney
AP
movies.
Music Theory, I did a reharmonization of Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Okay,
we had to pick a song from a movie and reharmonize
That's
it.
a funny one.
Yeah, and so
Wait, what is the song?
Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. Look
I don't know
at
that
this
movie
stuff.
very well.
Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? That one. And
I remember the one song, Down Under the Sea.
yeah, Under the Sea. That's a good one too. And I made it like real dark and sad.
I remember.
So
Caribbean music, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No. The steel pan on that one is crazy. The it's like Mario.
I love how unstructured this. You keep trying to go to like a point. I keep just like derailing us.
No, but that's why. Yeah, we couldn't do this at 7 a.m. on Fox 2 in the
I'm
morning.
Stoned, so
It's
not
this is what
very
happens.
stoned at all. But I could use more actually. But do you got any weed?
I do. You want some?
Yeah. Do you got a little nug I could bump?
Well, it's all ground already. But you anything you need.
I would roll a spliff if I did.
Oh, please roll a spliff, Dan.
I'm out of weed. I'm waiting on my guy to text me. Not that I have a guy.
He doesn't exist.
He doesn't exist.
Yeah, you got it. Wouldn't you think I'm the girl, the girl who has?
It's so funny what to think of the point of this conversation.
Everything.
It's kind of like songwriting, but it's kind of like my music. It's kind of like how you're relating. But
Which thing?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's my point. We're just kind of rambling.
Yeah, but you use as much as you need to use.
Oh, I just did.
Oh no, I meant of the podcast footage.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing too. Is
There's anything that
I
makes
used
me
to
look
only do it live.
The Pops Blue Moon thing we can cut out for sure.
The what?
The Pops Blue Moon thing we should cut out.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to give them a diss. Or the Tom Byrne thing maybe.
Yeah,
too.
I usually will just.
That's why we're going over than an hour.
But that's the thing, because we're not like we know not to dive into those things. That it's not like we're noticeably missing something. So
I won't be too disrespectful to anyone.
Yeah,
I gave you kind of an insult.
Well, no, it was hard. It's hard when you talk about KDHX or when you talk about the Riverfront Times or things we don't have anymore. Like I had Joe Hess on the show for.
We don't have the Riverfront Times anymore?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he used to do their RFT showcase. And so we had to talk about that because it's a big inspiration for his Free for All event. But you want to be clear about maybe things that are regrettable that have happened in the scene and whatnot, but you also don't necessarily want to put anybody on blast, especially about old stuff like that.
That was the problem with the podcast I had at. I was like cutting down String Cheese incident, which it's easy to cut them down, but like you don't want to cut people down. That's not cool. But I was just talking about like, I don't know, maybe songwriting in jam bands or something. It's like String Cheese incidents. Like, actually, I like their songs. So I don't even know what I was worried about. So I don't know.
Well, and that's always the thing too. People are always trying to make headlines with,
opinion or something.
Who said what about who? Like,
I hate that.
Like, I haven't heard a new Courtney Love song in 30 years, but every now and then she's in the news for Queens of the Stone Age or Lazy. They write songs like this. I'm like, who asked Courtney Love about anything? Why is Courtney Love? She needs to be on the witness stand.
She needs to talk to Madonna. They have a feud, I think. It's kind of funny. I remember that from MTV.
I bet that's still going on, too.
Probably.
It's like, move on.
When she read that Kurt Cobain's suicide note, I was like, this is just so weird. I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, that whole thing.
It was a weird feeling to watch that. I remember someone traded Kurt Cobain's suicide note for like something else in the 90s when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, I got Kurt Cobain's suicide note on a piece of cardboard or something, like on a piece of paper.
And they traded it for like a Princess Diana Beanie Baby.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they traded it
Did you guys
for.
get sucked into the Beanie Babies at all?
I never did. I got sucked into South Park when I was a kid.
That's
I also
cheaper.
was like 2 years before Pokemon, so I never liked Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
I was like
you missed that.
just 2 years too old for that. I wasn't a true millennial.
I was right in
the
the Target demo. I have a Snorlax tattoo.
Oh, sick.
So
I like it though. I don't mind it. I mean,
no,
if the
but
cards
it's
are worth
but
something,
that's
who
what's so
cares?
interesting too about just 5 years, for example, makes such a difference in what you're.
I remember being too mature,
brainwashed with.
barely, but
Yeah.
for like Pokemon, I'm like, this is for kids, and I'm like in 6th grade.
Yeah.
It's for 4th graders.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it's such a transitionary time. And you were playing
When I
music
was in
already.
4th grade, we had South Park that just came out.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the first episode.
I remember seeing the
So
first
awesome.
episode of South Park because my dad just was trying to put on cartoons so he could go make dinner.
Oh my god!
And
That's
he was like,
awesome.
"Cartoons, here you go." And I'm
Air five.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "The cartoon talks like Daddy. What do we? We were small. I mean,
That first episode, Cartman gets an anal probe.
yeah.
yeah.
The satellite comes out of his ass.
I remember talking about that with my friend at school the next day. Did you see that new show? Yeah, I saw it too. I kind of liked it too.
Yeah.
I'm sure a bunch of people did.
A bunch of people didn't know that you can't just let your kids watch any cartoon.
It was perfect for me because
you can let your kids watch The Simpsons. They're not going to get everything, but it's
The
not
Simpsons and
inappropriate.
Seinfeld, we couldn't know, there wasn't the internet, so you couldn't just re-catch up on every episode. So when there was a rerun, you would just not really know everything about it. So when South Park started on the first episode and I was able to catch that, we were able to keep up with every single episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't too old for us. What I
Yeah.
mean? It was right. We were right at the right age.
Yeah, my God. That's got to be like,
I loved it. I love South Park.
that's going to be like the arrival of crack. Like being that age.
I remember John it in 5th grade, but I remember talking about it in 4th grade with my friends.
We're kind of coming to a natural time-born conclusion here coming up, but I'm really grateful that we've finally been able to dive into so much of this stuff. Some of the stuff that I'm going to recommend, and you can add anything that that maybe I miss. But we're talking to Dan C Roth.
Hey, what's happening, Jay?
New EP, Roth Schmoth, is out everywhere now. I was listening to it this morning on Apple Music.
Since April, yeah.
And it says June 10th.
Oh, since June 10th.
Since June 10th. There's a great collection of music here. We also talked at length about What Good Is a Love Song off of the I Got Gold EP. I listened to all of the new EP. We mentioned some of Play Your Music. We have gigs coming up. Both Dan C Roth, the Dan C Roth duo.
So we got 3 gigs, 27, 28, and 19th of next month.
Yeah. And dance-c.roth.com.
All the gigs are on my, all the posters are on my Sweet Shows tab for my website.
Perfect.